I'm about to show you all of the evidence that proves to me that this man is indeed the Antichrist and the devil in the flesh. And Jewish mysticism actually proves it. First, I'm going to take you into the Old Testament of the Bible in Judges 19. This is where, ironically, God is showing us where the tribe of Benjamin is basically being condemned, where the Hebrew Bible literally refers to them as the men of the city, sons of Belial, where Belial's name literally means lawless and corrupt men, and the sin that they were guilty of was literally SA. So just pay attention to a lot of these key phrases that I'm using throughout this video because it's all going to make sense in the end. In this time period, it's highlighting a period where in those days there was no king in Israel, signifying a moral collapse. And then a repeated phrase throughout the Bible being sons of Belial is used all throughout it to explain the lawlessness of people. Sound familiar yet? This is also understood as a foreshadowing of the Antichrist spirit inside of the sanctuary. Paul even uses Belial in 2 Corinthians 6:15 as a contrast from Christ, literally pointing us to who the exact Antichrist spirit is. Thus, the New Testament declares that Belial is the Antichrist spirit, is the devil, therefore we are to look for his characteristics. His characteristics are consistent with wickedness, rebellion, and moral corruption associated with lawlessness, lies, lust, and perversion. Belial is known for breaking promises and speaking lies, often appearing benevolent to lure victims into a trap. He tempts people with various vices, particularly those related to sin, wealth, and pride. Sounds like Belial's pretty consistent with some sort of blackmail operation. He's also eloquent and persuasive. He possesses a silver tongue using cunning arguments and manipulation to influence thought and behavior. There's someone I know that I can't think of that was recently accused, allegedly, of manipulating Donald Trump and America's politicians, from his own mouth, who also just had a meeting with a lot of influencers, especially from TikTok. So again, we are consistently seeing characteristics of Belial not only in the Old Testament, also in the Dead Sea Scrolls as well as the New Testament. However, if you're not convinced yet, this is the deal breaker. For example, Trump has been compared to King Cyrus for more than one reason, but also utilizing Jewish gematria, including this article from earlier this year from the Times of Israel, where the gematria connection is Donald Trump has a numerical value of 424, coincidentally also does Messiah, the House of David. So if we stay consistent with this logic, this is Benjamin Netanyahu's name in Hebrew, including his nickname Bibi. Well, nobody in the world calls him Benjamin Netanyahu. People either refer to him as Benjamin or Bibi. So to phonetically achieve this sound in the Hebrew language, we need to add the letter Dalet inside of it. Thus, when we transliterate Benjamin into Hebrew, this is what we get, where Benjamin Netanyahu has a numerical value of 687. Now remember at the beginning of the video, we were talking about the story with the tribe of Benjamin and the sons of Belial. Well, here's where things get interesting. When you add up the numerical value of Belial, Bibi, Netanyahu, you get the same numerical value, 687. All of which is consistent with the methods of Jewish Kabbalah and Gematria. Remember how the book of Revelation says, he who can calculate the number of the beast being 666? Well, this happens to only be 21 away from the number 666. We all know that the man of lawlessness lacks God. The same God that declared to Moses the divine name in Exodus 3:14, Aheye Asher Aheye. Well, Aheye happens to have a numerical value of 21. Therefore, his godless actions proves that he is not acting from a place of God. So when we subtract the 21, we get 666. But that's not how his name's actually spelled. Okay, let's go there. His name spelled the actual way in Hebrew has a numerical value of 683. Which is 17 from 666. The number 17 is attributed to the word tov, which means good. For example, when God creates in Genesis 1, the word that is used is tov. Is this man more consistent with creation or destruction? Me personally, I see no good in this man whatsoever. Therefore, this man has subtracted the tov within himself. Subtract the 17, you get 666 again. All I see is a cunning liar that is consistent with the characteristics of the lawless one. leading an army of idolaters astray. Also, for the hell of it, this is for entertainment purposes only. I am of sound mind and I am extremely happy. I love my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I love my wife and children. And I would never do anything to harm myself or any of my loved ones. And don't believe anything that I said in this video because I'm just some big dumb conspiracy theorist who likes to post irony on the internet. I love you all. God bless.